Hey guys, welcome back. We are at Steve's house again for American Nostalgia Garage, and we're working on potentially the worst 67 Camaro on the planet. So we've already done a couple videos on this car. Obviously we have new quarter panels hung. All right, the deck lid filler panel has been done. I can't get around the front, but we patched the firewall, inner rockers, outer rockers. We've already done a fair amount of work on this car. But today, we're going to focus on the floor. Clearly, the removal part has been done, and that was actually one of the first things we took out of the car when we started working on it. So there's not too much of the floor pan left. So first thing we're going to do, remove our seat belts, and then what we're going to do is cut the remainder of the floor right above this line where my index finger is, just because we're trying to remove as little of the car as possible all at one time. You still want some reference points when you take something apart. To this level, it's always good to have something that you can work off of. So we're going to try and keep a little bit of that. We do have to remove the rear from the car. The leaf spring pockets on the front of these cars actually bolt in to the floor pan, and I believe there's a brace off of the rocker panel. So seat belts out, rear end out, a little bit more cutting, and then we can hopefully get to work on putting a new floor in this car and maybe cut the braces out that we welded in 2 months ago. But this is what happens when you buy a 67 Camaro on eBay and sort by cheapest. Got the car up in the air. Steve is going to throw some jack stands underneath our rockers, and then we will let the rear down. Actually, we'll cut the rear out. We're going to cut the shackles and probably the pockets on the floor because there's nothing left. Then once we get it up in the air enough, we can let the body down on the rockers and then hopefully get to work cutting everything out without having the whole thing slammed to the ground. So this is one of those cars where it's so bad, every time you jack it up, you just cringe because you're waiting for the jack to go through the floor or the entire rear to go through the floor, but made it in one piece. All right, we got the car up in the air. Obviously we need to cut the shackles out so we can get the rear out. But before we did that, you guys may not know, but Steve and I are very safety conscious, and there's still a fuel tank in this car, so we need to get that out. So cut the straps out from underneath. Only thing holding it in is what's left of the fuel filler neck right there. And it's hard as a rock. So we'll just cut the rest of that out. That should allow us to drop the tank. I'll go out on a limb here and say that the fuel lines are probably rotted, so I don't think they'll be holding it up. So we'll get that out, and then we'll start working on getting the rear.
Slightly different approach than I had, and seems to be paying off in the long run.
We're loose.
Well, I guess, yeah, it's not attached at all.
You should have just done it that way on that side. You could have asked. I was right here.
Let's just go back in time.
And never buy this car.
Just, yeah, maybe we should. Yeah, we'll go back a couple years and just not buy the car. Maybe you should spend some more time here and fix my car for me.
You know, the pay was a little better. But
I pay in 4 slices of pizza nightly. That's it.
well, I got to tell you, for a car that's rotted as badly as it is, that rear end was really in there. But we got both shackles disconnected in the rear. I ended up cutting around the leaf spring pockets and through the frame rail on the inside of the car, so the rear is officially detached from the vehicle. We're going to pull the tires off, slide the rear end out, and then we'll get back inside, start making some cuts, and make some room for that new floor. All right, everything finally out of the way. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we're now going to cut along that seam. We're going to take a little bit out of each wheel well, just so we're not fighting that when we try and position the new floor in. Hopefully with all of this mess out of the way, the new piece should kind of just fit right up in like a puzzle piece. Should, if the floor is anything like what the rear end just put us through with the fuel tank, really anything that we've done today. It's not going to, but cut that out and see what happens. All right, so here's what we have. Floor pan has been ground down, drilled for plug welds, both sides along the firewall up top. Inside the car, Steve has prepped and weld-through primered both inner rocker panels. So for our next trick, we're going to attempt to slide this into the car and then in place. Not sure how it's going to go. I have a feeling I know how it's going to go. But let me set you guys up over there, and then you watch us struggle. Hang on a sec before you start maneuvering it in here. Yeah, I'm going to see if we can... Okay, now I'm going to see if I can put it on this wheel dolly and then use that to kind of wheel it back into position. Somebody killed the casters on this thing.
We'll have to go inside and yell at him about it later.
I don't think he's in the house. I think he's standing there with the floorboard, to be honest with you. Wait, hold on. Okay. Hold up, because I'm still in the car. We're gonna have to move the old piece of floor too. Oh, I love it.
It's the best way.
I love it a lot.
Stop around Jackson like that. Wow, that slid in pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's got to come forward a little more though, no?
That's probably it.
Okay.
For forward, at least.
Yeah.
There you go. Now we're too high, and we do have to come forward. Do we have to come forward?
We got to come down too.
In the front.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting caught up on the tunnel here.
Makes you almost want to keep it.
Wow. Yeah. Right. You're gonna do something bad for me with this car when I'm done. I'm telling you. All right.
All right, well, our one-piece floor is about where we want it. Now, we haven't welded it in yet, and that's because we need to get a new front clip for this car. So the subframe. Old one, surprisingly. Don't know how, but it was rotted out. So we have to source another one, and we want to make sure that the floor is in the correct spot because these bolt holes right here accept one of the frame mounts. So we want to make sure we have a couple of inches like side to side movement there, but we want to make sure we have this in the right spot before we permanently weld anything in. But it looks pretty good in there. Between the inner and outer rockers, the quarters, starting to look like something once again. I did want to show you guys the spring cups that we cut out of this car. So this is the leaf spring pocket. This one still has half the leaf spring because it broke. But just take a gander at that frame rail. Not very good. So this needed to go. All fresh new metal in there and starting to come together. So that is going to do it for this one. We'll be back on this car soon enough once a subframe is located. And obviously there's plenty more work to do. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Check Steve's channel out as well, American Nostalgia Garage. This is his car. I'm just giving him a hand with it. But thanks for watching. See you guys very soon.